This program is proudly brought to you by the VAFA Live Official app. With live scores, team stats, player stats and much, much more. Everything you need for the VAFA in the palm of your hand. Download it from the App Store or Google Play now.
I'm Daniel Hewitt with Complete Sports Management here at Daily Oval, where Old Brighton have defeated Old Trinity by 68 points. I'm joined by Bernie from Old Trinity. Tough game for your guys today, but I thought your starts of the first and second quarter were really good. You got a lot of run forward. What do you think Brighton did to try and stem that, and what changes do you think you could have made?
Yeah, look, they brought a pretty defensive mindset early, so I think their willingness to work and defend hard they started that with a loose player behind the ball early just to settle the game, and allowed us, to maybe get some ball in back half, but not really attack them with any real purpose. So, credit to them that they were set up. We were just unable to adjust that initially, and then they started to run once we neutralised and even the numbers. So, look, I think they beat us in every facet of the game. So it was pretty comprehensive and probably as bad a loss as I've been involved in at least 12 months. They got greater separation spread. They ran harder. They were better at the contested ball. They hunted in numbers and were able to hit the scoreboard. And unfortunately today we didn't have any answers from a coaching or a playing perspective.
Yeah, I noticed you guys kept trying to hone in on the ball movement and really trying to get that ball movement going quickly. Do you think the slightly slippery conditions kind of had an impact on that and were restricting in terms of how you guys were able to implement your game plan?
Oh, look, not really, Daniel. I think that'd probably be pretty generous and a let off for the players, to be honest, because Brighton were able to function under the exact same conditions and have much more penetration with their run and their ball use, deeper, more dangerous entries. They defended really, really well, and as I said, they were harder than us and more effective than us at the contest. So, I don't think the conditions really played into that. I think the space, the size of the ground allowed a team that worked harder to get some value, and I think that's where they beat us today, unfortunately. Yeah,
so moving forward, you got there's a few games left in the season. What changes will you implement to try and avoid results like this happening again?
I think we've come off the back of a really solid 5 or 6 week break. Speaking with their coach after the game, I was surprised. Obviously, I was disappointed, but he was also surprised by the result and how comprehensive they were. So I think what we've been predominantly working on at training, with regard to our ball use, with regard to our setups, our rotations, and the other areas of the ground, our stoppage work. I think what we've been working on has been good, and it's stood up fairly well over the last 6 weeks until today. So I think we just went away from that a little bit. So we'll go back to try and work on our contested ball, on our decision making, on our ball use. I think turnovers really hurt us today, and the shallow entries as well, as I mentioned. So I think we'll go back to working on the things that have had us in really good stead for the 5 or 6 weeks before this, try and prepare for OMs out here next week.
Well, best of luck with that. Thanks for joining me, Bernie. I'll be back shortly with Old Brighton. I'm joined by Greg, the coach of Old Brighton. An outstanding performance from your boys today, but obviously in particular Seb Williams with 11 goals. He's shown sort of glimpses throughout the year, but today it really all came together for him, did it?
Yeah, look, he was outstanding today, and as you said, he has shown glimpses, and it's been a bit frustrating for us because we've sort of always thought he's got a lot of talent, and today he was looked after by some really good service from Pavlo and Hill and Elliot Legrice were able to get the ball down there pretty well. But you still got to finish, you still got to win your own ball, and you still got to make the contest and still got to finish. And it was a terrific effort, and probably would have almost had 12, except he was trying to look after Elliot, who hadn't kicked a goal in 6 years. So no, it was a good effort by Seb today.
And talking about Pavlo and Hill, the drive from the midfield was really outstanding today. Both those guys registering 37 plus touches. Talk about the impact the midfield had in terms of getting that ball forward today, and how it ended up providing them result.
Yeah, look, it was obviously it was an even first quarter. I was a bit concerned a little bit, but as the game went on, our guys, Kingy was good in the ruck and was able to give Harry first use, and Pav, as the extra mid that we played today. And their ball use is good, and I think the size of the ground helped us. We play on a really small ground in difficult conditions all the time, and today was perfect, really still, nice big ground, and our ball use, Harry's ball use was outstanding, and his ability to win the ball at the contest and then run really hard. It was a really good result for us.
I thought a number of your sort of lesser players in the back line, like Tom Larkworthy in particular, I thought played particularly well after I heard you give him a little bit of a spray midway through the second quarter. Talk to me about some of the defenders today and how they really stepped up, given the slow start that you had.
Yeah, look, I thought even young Marty Ho, who came in, and he hasn't played much in the back line for us. He hasn't played many senior games at all, but he came in and played his role. And Larkers and even Tom Lametz, except for about a 5-minute period in the second quarter, both of them defended really well. When they realised that if they play on their man and have their man as a starting point, they're good players. And Yorgi back helped as well, and Quinton Montanaro, I thought, did a really good job down there. And they got their game right today. You know, occasionally they don't get it right because they play too far off, but today they got it right. And, you know, young Larkers was good. And as I said, young Marty Ho, it was good for him to do what he did. Unfortunately, we lost Ned Murray early in the game with a cracked shoulder, so that's disappointing for us and disappointing for him.
Obviously, speaking about injuries, the news came from the week, multiple stress fractures for Will Lewis. How do you go about trying to replace him? Obviously, 11 goals from Seb today helps, but moving forward, what's the plan, do you think, going to be in terms of replacing his production up forward?
It's a good question, and we tried young Jake Turner today, who'd played in the under-19s, and unfortunately he did a hammy because of the intensity of the game. It's just a little bit different. Look, we'll have to assess it. We get Lockie Filipovic back next week, so ruckman, so it means that Kingy can go forward again. But look, Will's been a terrific player for us, and it's not quite as bad as what everyone thinks, but he'll certainly miss a chunk of he might not play again this year, and he's been really good for us, and he's a hard player to replace, almost irreplaceable. But, you know, we'll just have to flick it around and see who ends up down there, and, you know, if it's a small that kicks the goals for us, so be it.
Yeah, obviously you're going to take the goals where they come. Thanks for joining me, Greg. Congrats on the win. That's all from us here at Daily Oval, where Old Brighton have defeated Old Trinity by 68 points.
This has been another Complete Sports Management production.